Oxytocin is a powerful hormone and neurotransmitter. It's often called the love hormone or the cuddle chemical because it plays a key role in the emotional bond between a mother and her child. It's also released by both men and women when they're in love. It isn't just involved in loving relationships though. It can also significantly affect the functioning of your brain and your nervous system and impact your emotions from day to day. Low levels of oxytocin in the brain are associated with several mental health conditions, including depression, anxiety, social phobia, autism, schizophrenia, post-traumatic stress disorder, tinnitus, anorexia nervosa, and borderline personality disorder. Research suggests that if you increase oxytocin, it can lead to the following benefits: reduce stress and anxiety and increase feelings of calmness and security. It does this by suppressing the activity in the amygdala, the fear center of the brain. It can improve mood and increase feelings of contentment. It can stimulate the vagus nerve and increase your heart rate variability. And it can reduce the release of cortisol, your body's main stress hormone. It can reduce inflammation and accelerate healing, increase creativity, alleviate the pain threshold, reduce withdrawal symptoms and tolerance to addictive drugs, improve self-perception in social situations. It also increases enjoyment of social interaction by stimulating the production of the endocannabinoids. And it can increase positive personality traits such as empathy, warmth, trust, and openness. Because of this, some doctors have started prescribing intranasal oxytocin spray to their patients to help treat their symptoms. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin that your skin synthesizes when exposed to the sun. It can also be taken as a supplement. Every tissue in your body has vitamin D receptors, including your brain, so a deficiency can lead to costly physiological and psychological consequences. Research shows oxytocin is directly activated and controlled by vitamin D. Some researchers also believe that autistic children have low levels of oxytocin, likely because they're deficient in vitamin D. Ideally, you should get your vitamin D naturally from the sun. It's especially important to make sure you get some sunlight in the morning to set your circadian rhythm. Most people still don't get enough vitamin D from the sun, and that's why it's recommended to take a vitamin D supplement or to use a vitamin D lamp. Researchers estimate 50% of the general population is at risk of a vitamin D deficiency. It's important to test and monitor your vitamin D levels before and after supplementing. Vitamin C is another easy way to optimize and to increase your levels of oxytocin. Researchers know that vitamin C is a cofactor in the production of oxytocin, and the synthesis of oxytocin is dependent upon vitamin C. One study found that vitamin C stimulates the secretion of oxytocin, and another study found supplementing with a high dose of vitamin C increases the release of oxytocin, and then this increases the intercourse frequency, improves mood, and decreases stress. As you probably know, vitamin C is found in fruits and vegetables like green peppers, citrus fruit, tomato, cauliflower, Brussels sprout, broccoli, and cabbage. In addition to getting vitamin C from fruits and vegetables, you can take a supplement with at least 500 milligrams of vitamin C per day. Magnesium is a vital mineral and it participates in more than 300 biochemical reactions in the body. Unfortunately, lots of people are deficient in magnesium. It's a shame because magnesium is absolutely essential for the proper functioning of the nervous system and for optimal neurotransmitter activity. Researchers have found that oxytocin receptors require magnesium to function properly, and magnesium increases the action of oxytocin at the receptor. There's a number of things you can do to make sure that you're getting enough magnesium. First, make sure you're eating magnesium-rich foods on a regular basis, like spinach, chard, pumpkin seeds, almonds, avocado, dark chocolate, and banana. Epsom salt baths are another great way to increase your body's intake of magnesium. Magnesium supplements are also a good way to help produce more oxytocin. Besides supporting the oxytocin levels, magnesium can also naturally increase dopamine, reduce anxiety, and help you to overcome trauma, withdrawal, and addiction. Taurine is an organic compound found in food, particularly in animal products. It has a wide variety of health benefits. It can cross the blood-brain barrier, improve mood, and produce anti-anxiety effects. Researchers believe that one of the ways that it improves the mood and reduces anxiety is by naturally increasing the release of oxytocin in the brain. Researchers have found caffeine significantly increases the release of oxytocin. Perhaps this is one reason that people love to get together with friends for a coffee. Most people can tolerate coffee just fine, but for some it can make them feel jittery. For this, the caffeine should be combined with L-theanine, a calming amino acid which reduces its side effects, and it should only be taken early in the day, as if it's taken later it can disrupt sleep. It's a good idea to try to consume the whole coffee fruit instead of just the coffee bean. Traditionally, the coffee bean is extracted from the coffee fruit for roasting, and the surrounding fruit is discarded. But the problem is, the fruit contains several healthy compounds that are not found in the beans themselves. Estrogen is the primary female sex hormone, and it's responsible for the development and the regulation of the female reproductive system. Estrogen has been found to increase the synthesis and the secretion of oxytocin. It also increases the expression of oxytocin receptors in the brain. Other studies show even a single dose of estradiol can significantly increase the circulating oxytocin levels and reduce anxiety. It's recommended both men and women get their hormone levels checked regularly. Lactobacillus reuteri is a bacterium with anti-inflammatory effects that scientists first discovered in the 80s. It's one of the most promising psychobiotics for anxiety. Research shows the Lactobacillus reuteri significantly increases oxytocin levels in the brain through the vagus nerve. The Lactobacillus reuteri is usually found in the human gut. However, not all humans have it, and some simply have low levels of it. Therefore, you might need to supplement with it. One study found the absence of the Lactobacillus reuteri causes social deficits in animals. By adding it back into the gut of the animals, the researchers were able to reverse some of the behavioral deficits. This was similar to the symptoms of social anxiety and autism in humans. It can also be found in breast milk and some meat and dairy products. You can increase oxytocin with herbs like chamomile. Chamomile is a medicinal herb and it's been traditionally used for its calming and anti-inflammatory properties, but it can also help to produce more oxytocin. Animal studies show that chamomile contains substances that act on the same part of the brain and the nervous system as anti-anxiety drugs. Researchers also know that chamomile naturally increases oxytocin and lowers the stress hormone cortisol. OEA is a molecule produced in the body. It's responsible for the feeling of being full after meals, and it can help with weight loss. Multiple studies show that OEA naturally stimulates the secretion of oxytocin and increases levels of oxytocin in the brain. Melatonin is a natural hormone and it's released by the pineal gland, a small gland in your brain. It helps to control your sleep and wake cycle or your circadian rhythm, and adequate levels of melatonin are necessary to fall asleep quickly and to sleep deeply throughout the night. More than one study has shown that 500 micrograms of melatonin significantly increases the secretion of oxytocin. Besides melatonin and sleep supplements, there's some actions that you can take naturally to produce more melatonin. You can expose your eyes to sun in the morning. Blue light significantly suppresses your body's production of melatonin, leading to disrupted sleep patterns and abnormal functioning of the nervous system. As soon as it's dark outside, you should avoid sources of blue light. Turn off household lights, get red light bulbs, install Iris on your computer and wear glasses that block out the blue light. Sleep in a dark environment. Completely black out your room with curtains and wear a sleep mask overnight. Sleeping with lights on in the room decreases neurogenesis and it impairs cognitive performance. Lie on an acupressure mat for 10 minutes before going to bed. Melatonin secretion can also be disrupted by EMF exposure, so turn off cell phones, Wi-Fi and other electrical devices while you sleep. Fenugreek is one of the most popular herbal supplements that's traditionally been used to enhance sex drive. It also demonstrates antidepressant and anti-anxiety effects in animals, and it naturally produces more oxytocin in humans. Fenugreek seeds are an option. They can be eaten whole, brewed in a tea, or even made into a flour or baked into a gluten-free bread. Jasmine oil is a popular essential oil derived from Jasminum officinale flower. It's been used for hundreds of years in Asia to improve mood, manage emotional stress and anxiety, and improve sex drive and sleep. There's a lot of research that suggests it has positive effects on the nervous system, and it can increase the levels of oxytocin. Clary sage is a relaxing essential oil. It's been shown to naturally relieve anxiety and depression by reducing cortisol stress hormone and by improving thyroid hormone levels. Just last year, researchers found inhaling clary sage oil increases oxytocin in women during pregnancy. Anise, also known as Pimpinella anisum, is a plant found in the same family as carrots, celery and parsley. The plant produces a small white fruit called the anise seed. It's rich in nutrients and it can be used as a natural remedy for a number of health concerns. Research shows the seed can increase oxytocin in pregnant women. In one study, it was effective reducing the symptoms of postpartum depression. But it doesn't just work in new mothers who've postpartum depression. Another study showed that taking the anise oil can decrease depressive symptoms in men and women with mild to moderate depression. The anise seed can be taken by adding it to desserts and drinks. Not surprisingly, there's a ton of research showing that interpersonal touch quickly increases oxytocin in the brain. This obviously includes kissing, cuddling and sex, but non-sexual touch, such as hugging and shaking hands, increases oxytocin also. A 10-second hug every day can help to boost the immune system, fight infection, increase dopamine, reduce depression and lessen fatigue. Loving kindness meditation, or metta, is a meditation practice designed to enhance the feelings of kindness and compassion for yourself and others. While meditating, you repeat positive phrases to yourself, think positively of other people, and direct well wishes and love towards them. Researchers believe that you give yourself a boost in oxytocin when you do this, and it might even upregulate the oxytocin receptors. Acupuncture is an alternative treatment that's been shown to increase oxytocin levels. Research has shown that acupuncture can affect synthesis, release, and the action of several neurotransmitters and neuropeptides, including oxytocin. Animal studies have also demonstrated that acupuncture elevates the oxytocin concentrations in certain brain regions. Animals have a way of calming us, and that's because they increase our oxytocin levels. Research shows just touching your pet lowers your blood pressure and increases your oxytocin levels. One study found that oxytocin levels increased in both humans and dogs after just 5 minutes of petting. Research shows massage can significantly increase the oxytocin levels and reduce stress hormones. It's important to note that one study found a light massage is more effective at increasing oxytocin than a deep tissue Swedish massage. Music is healing and can have a calming effect on the brain by increasing oxytocin levels. In one study, Patients who underwent open heart surgery listened to soothing music for 30 minutes one day after their surgery, and they had significantly higher levels of oxytocin compared to those who were simply told to rest in bed. Slow tempo music has been shown to increase both oxytocin and heart rate variability. Research has found singing for 30 minutes significantly increases oxytocin levels in both amateur and professional singers, regardless of whether they enjoyed singing the song. Yoga is a popular mind-body relaxation technique, and it increases the activity of your parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system. Researchers believe it works because it increases the oxytocin level in the brain by stimulating the vagus nerve. In one study, researchers found that yoga significantly increased the oxytocin levels and improved the socio-occupational functioning in patients with schizophrenia. The researchers concluded yoga should be used to manage the schizophrenia because of the improvements in the oxytocin levels. Researchers have found your brain releases more oxytocin during social contact and social bonding, and this can actually speed up healing from a disease. So if you want to produce more oxytocin, you should talk to people whenever you get the chance. Hang out with friends and family as much as possible. You've probably heard of intermittent fasting, but you've likely not heard of intermittent drinking. It appears simply taking breaks from drinking water can increase oxytocin levels. Recent research shows that drought and the homeostatic disturbance can lead to the feeling of thirst, and it can activate specific oxytocin-producing parts of the brain. Researchers believe that the intermittent bulk drinking could increase oxytocin signaling, recover human trust, and increase health by reducing stress and inflammation. If you think of it from an evolutionary perspective, it makes sense. Your ancestors likely consumed as much water as they could when they got a chance, but then went for long periods of time when they couldn't drink any water. Just like intermittent fasting, intermittent drinking doesn't necessarily mean you drink less water throughout the day. You simply drink a lot of water whenever you get thirsty, and then you stop drinking water until you're thirsty again. This is how all animals and human newborns behave. But we've been brainwashed into thinking we need to be sipping on water all the time. Start intermittent drinking and your oxytocin receptors will thank you. Exposing yourself to both warm and cold temperatures can also increase oxytocin levels. Researchers have found that hot environments, warm temperatures, and increased sweating activate specific oxytocin-producing parts of the brain. Giving birth in warm water has also been shown to reduce the need for doctors to give women synthetic oxytocin during labor. This suggests the warm water naturally increases the oxytocin levels. But it's not just the warm water and the warm temperature that increases the oxytocin. Recent research also suggests that cold exposure can significantly upregulate oxytocin levels in the brain. So if you want to optimize your oxytocin levels, try pushing yourself outside your comfort zone and expose your body to the acute stress of extreme temperatures. Eating food also increases oxytocin. Food activates touch receptors in the mouth, and this then stimulates the release of oxytocin. Then, when the food reaches the gut, a hormone is released from the intestines that activates the vagus nerve, and this then stimulates the release of more oxytocin in the brain. This is why eating makes people feel calm and satisfied, and often opens them up for social interaction, bonding, and attachment. The obvious downside to this is that you might be tempted to overeat unhealthy foods to stimulate the release of oxytocin, so you feel better and less stressed. And oxytocin is one reason why you might have a hard time breaking a bad eating habit. Everyone loves to watch a movie, and it's probably because it increases oxytocin. Research shows that compelling narratives cause the synthesis and the release of oxytocin. and this has the power to affect our attitudes, our beliefs, and our behaviors. Everyone loves to receive a gift, but it turns out giving someone a gift benefits you. Studies show receiving and giving gifts both increase oxytocin levels in the brain. Hypnosis, also known as hypnotherapy or hypnotic suggestion, is a trance-like state. When you're in this state, you have heightened focus and concentration and reduced peripheral awareness. You'll also have an enhanced capacity to respond to suggestion. Hypnosis is usually done with the help of a therapist using verbal repetition and mental images. Researchers believe the benefits of hypnosis might be due to its oxytocin increasing effects. Volunteering is another excellent way to boost your own oxytocin. A study published in the journal Hormones and Behavior found that charitable behavior reduces stress and it improves health by increasing oxytocin levels. To book a consultation or to learn about herbs, supplements, and natural treatments, check out my website.